If you have not seen the show, you are totally safe here. So this is yet another Mike Flanagan series on Netflix, and I do need to watch it a few more times to do a proper ranking, just because I've gotten very obsessed with all of his past series, and I've rewatched them quite a few times. But I will tell you, even after 2 viewings at this point, this one's going to be pretty high up there. I feel like a lot of people know this. I don't really give, 5 out of 5s or A's, or even use the word masterpiece very often, because I like the word to mean something when I actually do use it. But if I'm thinking it through properly, I would apply the word masterpiece to a lot of Mike Flanagan series, and this one would be included. It is just, to me, this is an example of like an optimal type of adaptation, especially in an industry where we're oversaturated with adaptations all the time. It's one that is, super rich with Poe influences and nods, but those stories are woven together so well that it will appeal to Poe super fans, but it also makes sure that Fall the House of Usher is something for everyone to enjoy. And the bonus to that would be it includes so many cool stories that it might inspire someone who does not know Poe's work very well to maybe seek one of those stories out after watching Usher. So that, I think, is a great part of this show. And then we've already talked about it. The cast is just absolutely exceptional. I'm really, really hoping that Netflix pushes this one hard for a number of Emmy categories, because I do think it deserves. The one that really upset me was Midnight Mass. I thought Midnight Mass was going to break into the award season conversation in a bigger way than it did. This one better, because it's about time. They deserve it. But the one thing that I want to see this show get more than anything in the world is a casting nomination, because my God, Flana Family All-Stars. And it's that perfect balance between, stunt casting that's a thrill for anybody who's been obsessed with Mike Flanagan shows, but also in a way where it is done to serve characters. These are the perfect actors for these particular roles. So you get the best of both worlds. Love this show.
Yeah, it is so brilliantly made. Flanagan, he crushes it yet again. I have loved everything of his that I've watched, and this is no different. If I were to rank this amongst all of his work, it is exceptionally hard. But against the TV shows, I'd probably put it at number 2. Just purely because I have so much love for Hill House.
Oh, okay.
That it's hard for me to put anything above that. But this does get really, really close. I love how it handles the Poe adaptations, in that it is, as you said, it is something where if you are a fan of Edgar Allan Poe, you're going to get a lot from it. But if you have never read a single word of his writing, you're still going to be able to enjoy the show perfectly fine. And you're still going to understand everything that's going on. And I love that it was able to take all of these different Edgar Allan Poe stories and almost do a sort of pseudo anthology.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the structure of the show like that, where every episode was a different adaptation and focused on a different member of the Usher family while still weaving in the overarching plot. It's so well put together and just a fantastically crafted piece of media that I think that everyone should watch, whether or not you're a horror fan. Like, honestly, it has its scary moments. It's not the most scary thing in the world. So if you are somebody who, maybe you don't have a high tolerance for scares, this might be honestly a decent one to check out.
So I'll say it's not the scariest in terms of things like jump scares. And I think some of the ghosts in previous series might be a little scarier, but I think it's scarier on a thematic level. I mean, there's a couple of visuals, especially towards the tail end, when you realize, not when you realize, I feel like it's fairly obvious right from the jump, but when you see what certain people have sacrificed to get wealth in life, there's a couple of visuals that are really seared in my brain. And I think this show does a very good job of, again, not that we're all blind to these issues, but I do find, and I say this with genre filmmaking all the time, I do find that sometimes it's easier to wrap your mind around really scary human truths when you see it in like a scripted series like this. And there's certain things they explain and they show you in a way way that you can't see in your day-to-day life that, man, it's a gut punch. It's horrifying to think about, and it's horrifying to be able to visualize that way.
Exactly. There are definitely jump scares. There are several moments that have gotten me pretty bad, but it's not like they're not super common. They're not all over the place. And as you were saying, like a lot of the horror is like almost existential. It's more dread and more just like uncomfortableness than actually like being horrified.
All right, I'm going to end this conversation with one question. It's an evil question, John, because again, this cast is so damn good. If you had to give the Fall the House of Usher MVP award to one cast member, who would you pick and why? It's so hard.
Mark Hamill does a great job. I've loved his work throughout it. Bruce Greenwood obviously carries it.
Yeah, he really
heavily.
And also the way he swooped in and just crushed that role in a really challenging situation. Very well done.
Carla
Gugino.
Yeah. I can never say her last name. I don't know why.
Good.
But she is fantastic. It's gonna I will say it's either Greenwood or it's her. It's one of those two. Hamill is just out.
So I love everyone in this show, and I really do mean everyone. It's
super hard to pick.
Like a really wild list of A+ Flana family members right here. So it's hard to pick, but I'm gonna pick someone who kind of ties back to who I was talking about in our last section. I'm going Mary McDonnell, who plays Madeline Usher. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have Scream in my head, where I do really like what she did in Scream 4, but it was still kind of, it was like a little bit of a blah role. And here it's just like this like fierce, fiery presence. And I'm just like disturbed, but also fascinated by that character's kind of like no nonsense tunnel vision thinking. And what a fascinating dynamic with Bruce Greenwood. The two of them play siblings, and man, is it just interesting to track. And the two of them are just electrifying together. But she is one of those single actors in a large ensemble where no matter what's unfolding, even if it doesn't directly involve her heavily, to always keep an eye on her. And I really appreciate a performance and also a script where you are drawn to that character and they're keeping you on your toes in a way that ups the tension of the series overall. Job very well done.
I do appreciate that she has this unique ability that like every scene that she's in, when she walks into the room, she almost just like sucks the warmth out of it, like in such a powerful way.
What an accurate way to describe that character.
So great.
All right, that's it. Clearly, we both highly recommend you all go out and binge The Fall of the House of Usher. It is something else, and I really am hoping that it's a series that we talk about all the way through to Emmy season next year. I don't even know how to talk about Emmy season anymore because now it's Emmys 2024 times 2, I guess. We'll see.